Hello everyone, today I'm gonna try something a bit different. I'm gonna do a challenge and I'm hopefully if this works out I'll might start streaming this way. So you can see here I've got a little timer set up and I've got some parameters set up down here. Today I'm going to make a screwdriver and I've given my parameters. I've got to have a handle, a shaft, and it must have a flat blade. I imagine what I will probably do, since a screwdriver should be pretty easy to make in under an hour, I'll probably make a couple of different, do like a Phillips head and stuff like that, and maybe do like a stubby little screwdriver as well, or modify the screwdriver into a stubby little screwdriver. So I've got my 1 hour timer here. Let's start the timer and get on with making a screwdriver. So a screwdriver should be pretty simple. Obviously, it's just a handle with a stick and a little end on it, so there won't be anything particularly challenging in this. I'm not really going to make it to scale or anything either. It's 40 centimeters already on the handle there. So simple handle. Oop, don't even have my settings correct up there. Bevel the end. Most screwdrivers here at least have a rounded end, or at least tapering or something on the end, and they usually have some sort of shaping on the front as well, so I'll probably do that. In fact, I might actually do a rotate or something on this, but let's just get a basic form down first and sort of get our lengths and stuff right, and once we've done that we can play with decorating it. So let's assume that's about a hand length. I think probably needs to be a little bit longer to feel right for a human hand. I think that's probably closer. And then having done that, we can easily key off this face to build a shaft. And that looks about right. Yeah, it's definitely too short. Yeah, something like that probably for a screwdriver, maybe a little shorter than that. Not making anything too giant here. I'm just sort of thinking of what's in my toolbox. I'm not obviously not bothering to use any reference image here. And there we go. That's a 3-minute screwdriver. Obviously, we haven't got a head yet, but all right. So we're in overhead view now. I think the easiest way to do the head is probably to just draw something out. So a flat head, we'll do a slightly wide head. This might be a bit big, but you know, shrink her down in a second. Yeah, it's probably a bit wide. Let's pull this in a bit. Most of the screwdrivers I've got, the actual blade here is pretty wide, so I think that'll do. Let's just duplicate that, and I'll just do a mirror duplicate, freeform duplicate, because I can just do that. Join those together, and that gives us our basic shape. Move that down to the center line, and then depending on how you want to do your screwdriver, you can obviously shape the blade in different ways. I think I will. So most of the ones that I have sort of come down from there. So I think duplicate you and maybe go somewhere. Even that seems too thick for the main part of the blade. Maybe something like that, and again we'll just duplicate that to get it down the bottom. Do a quick loft between those two. Looks alright. And then I'm just going to hide these curves. Now I won't be able to patch this because it's not got that part. So let's pop in some lines there. Oh, I forgot I haven't got my key thingy running. Though I suspect that this was causing lag the other day. We'll see. It doesn't seem to actually be doing anything right now. Patch that one. Come on, key thing. Turn on. Working now? No. It's taking up my valuable minutes. Maybe it just doesn't like me anymore. Oops, that's not what I want. Yeah, you can do your thing. Let's try running that again. See if it behaves now. There we go. Alright, just a reminder, again, that I do not use all the standard keyboard shortcuts, so some of them will not be the defaults, particularly things like movement, because I'm not a Blender user, so I don't use the Blender things. So for example there I'm using R to scale, not S to scale, because that is the standard for most 3D applications. Alright, so I'm just going to move those lines out there because we'll maybe loft down to the middle here. And I thought I wasn't going to loft in this. I probably should have put the patch on that before I moved that line away. So most of my keys will be the standard plasticity ones, but some of them will be different. So just keep that in mind. The functions are all the same, so you see whatever function pops up there, it's still going to be the same function. And again, a lot of them will be the normal plasticity ones anyway. It's mostly things like move, scale, rotate, and because those keys already had functions on them, I will have, move those functions as well. Okay, so I can't just do a GD change to G to get it to curve it for me. I'll actually have to put some sort of line in to curve that. Alright, where's that sitting there? So I'm going to bring that line into the middle. And then we will rebuild it so that we can have a couple of points to manipulate. And I'm just going to move that one down to there to be in line with that bottom point. And I might push this one up just a little bit. Actually, I might go all the way up. And then just bring it back across. And then what we can do is, in theory, get the tangent, but I mean it should be tangent, like, even if it's not long enough. Alright, so we'll grab that and that, do a loft, grab that. It's only doing the middle. It's a bit of a bum, so we might have to do the outside edges as well. I was hoping I'd get away with just doing that. Duplicate this fella. Move it across to line up with that. It has snapped, which is good. Now grab this one, snap it over there. Hopefully it'll, yep, good. And pop into the top view. Ah, I hit T. That was silly of me. Started trimming. So I'm just going to try and line this up roughly with this edge. I might leave that one where it is, just so it keeps that tangent, because this might cause a bit of an issue. I might have to move this out further. Do another rotate, or another mirror, sorry. That looks okay. That's pretty close. Let's have a look. So loft that, grab all three of these. Okay, beautiful, that's functioned. So that's not too bad a shape. Now what we can do, again, there's always multiple ways to do things. I can either take this shape and I can try and, line it up with lofts and bends and stuff, but I think what the easiest way to do is actually going to be to build it in and then extend the shaft and just boolean it out and maybe smooth it off. You can see even here we've got little bits of edge and stuff that would need to be blended in. So my plan then is to mirror this yet again. Freeform mirror. Apparently I selected the wrong thing. You. There we go. Now what I will do is hide all these curves again, so that I'm just looking at the faces of stuff. So that's being all one contiguous face. That's a bit annoying. See if we can split those. Will it let me? No. We'll just ignore it and they'll sort themselves out later on. I'll grab that and that. See if we can just loft that. It's not what I want. That's a G0D. That's alright. That's fine. That's perfectly good. Alright, so we'll just do that on all of these. I could, of course, just mirror all this, and in fact I might just mirror these two. Just go into the top view, Alt X. Again, grab the center point, just draw a line out so that it knows which axis to mirror on. Grab all this, join all that together. Now, is it going to still not let me grab that on its own? It is not going to let me grab all that on its own. Going to get this out of the way by hiding it. Let's see if it'll let me delete that line. It will, but then it does something weird. Okay, it's fine. Grab all that, patch it. Oh, it's not going to let me patch it, so I'm going to have to get rid of some of this inside stuff, perhaps. So I just had to sort something out there. So it hasn't actually joined these. Why you no join? Probably because they've got these faces. Alright, well, let's just delete the whole face. If it's gonna be a butthead about it, just get rid of it. Right, now it's let me join the whole thing together. patch this, patch this, and patch this. Alright, so now we're a solid. So we've got our blade. Ain't that sexy? Let's get out our shaft mag, which I didn't realise had actually connected itself to that bit there. I forget that happens. So let's grab you, split that off. I'm just going to hide it again. Let's patch that and delete it to get rid of that line. And let's maybe start giving some things names. Handle, blade, let's see if we can just patch this. Yeah, that worked. Shaft. Alright, let's give it a bit of a save in the documents. Plasticity. Screwdriver. Alright, so let's see what a horrible mess it makes if we try and just use this shape to cut a hole in this. Get him out of the way for a second. I'm just going to duplicate that and then extrude one of them, and then get the end of that, make a bit of a box, stretch this out to there, take my box, boolean that out, so we've just got a hole. This isn't going to work, is it? That's just going to make the whole thing small, not just the bit I want, because I'm a silly. That's all right. So what I want is to actually line it up here, because I don't want to cut off the rest of the blade. I don't want to... Oh, you are there. Why couldn't I see you a second ago? See if that'll line up nicely. Alright, so if I grab that, pull that off. Oh, you don't like it. That's one of those thing is too small kind of dealies. It's not really the spot I wanted to ball anyway. Really, and they want to sort of go over here. This is going to be stupid, isn't it? I think it's going to be stupid. Why am I doing this way? Basically make the same thing. How stupid am I? Oh, alright. I mean, it is kind of what I want. I mean, it's not that stupid. I mean, if you're doing some sort of like sci-fi screwdriver or something, I could see this being, you know, a reasonably valid way of just quickly doing this. But for doing a more realistic screwdriver, this is definitely not quite what we want. But what I might be able to do, actually, I wonder if I can just delete that and it'll fix that line. Beautiful. That'll make it a little bit easier to do what I want to do. Alright, what have we got left behind? Still that side. And these pieces, which don't have a thing, and also I want to get rid of these. So it probably would have been quicker to just do this in the first place. Grab you, and just cut a hole in it. And get rid of this side. Because that will get me where I want to be. Get rid of that. And let's just see if we can loft or bridge or something here and get a decent result. Obviously this is kind of gross, but it's close. Obviously it's gross, but put some guidelines in. I've set up my number pad 4 key to be show hide edges as well, just so I can quickly do that. So I've sort of got myself back to where we started, in essence. Or I should just build a proper loft in the first place. Alright, well, that being the case, let's just build a proper loft. Like I should have done in the first place. Don't be lazy. That's the lesson here. Probably cost myself a good 5 minutes here. Something like that. And this is generally why I don't like to do this kind of thing, because you've got to line these things up and it's always a pain in the bum. Like, tell me that shouldn't be close enough to snap, right? Totally moved it there. It just bugs me, you know. Just bugs me. Yeah, so end up doing something like that. But I think what I want to do with this is probably rebuild. Don't need that many points, and I need the 2. Just want to make sure these are straight, which doesn't necessarily mean they're tangent, but it puts us in the ballpark. Which, honestly, being in the ballpark doesn't necessarily help, I don't think. But I don't know enough about this stuff to really know that. So I assume... Hey, that one actually snapped. Beautiful. It's pretty rare that even mirroring something actually snaps like that. Let's see if we win again. Oh my god, they all snapped. They all snapped, everyone. That's a thing of beauty. Alright. That's great. Let's make this next part easier. No, it's not going to let me get away with doing lazy mode. Alright. And you're not going to split if I try and split you, are you? No, but I can rebuild you. Maybe get some love by rebuilding you. No, you're going to make me put in points, aren't you? Alright, okay. We'll put in some points. Just going to ignore that for the second. And put the middle one in. Oh, I did keep my curves before. Oh, well, it's a new thing now, so my old curves aren't going to help. Alright, so same deal again. Move these up so that even if it's not tangent per se, it's at least going to pretend. And if we have to adjust this, it will make it easier to deal with those adjustments. Now this is definitely going to look cleaner than a real screwdriver, because normally they do just have a harsh bevel, or at least the ones that I have generally have a harsh bevel. And if television's taught me anything, tools are pretty generic. So I'll mirror that one down as well. And if you don't know, the reason I'm making, I'll just do that a bit slower. So Alt X to mirror, or hit the mirror button, then hit F for freestyle. And then if you draw a line that's sort of perpendicular, you'll get a mirror, like the sort of mirror you would expect. If you do it that way, you'll get an X mirror, or whatever the coordinate system is in Plasticity. So if I wanted to mirror this over here, I could go Alt X, hit F, and then do a line up, and it'll mirror over there. So getting used to the freestyle mirror, doing sort of directional mirrors like this is actually pretty easy. You've just got to get used to sort of where you want to draw your line, and obviously if you want to not necessarily mirror but do them on a different angle or something like that, that's basically how freestyle mirror works. But it is very easy to get used to mirroring to where you want your mirror to be if you just want like a straight XYZ sort of mirror. So again, I'm just Alt X for mirror, draw a line across, and it's going to mirror it the opposite of where I draw my line, basically. If I say Alt X and freestyle mirror and do down here, it's going to be down here somewhere. So there is still sort of an advantage to drawing on the grid, even if, like if I wanted to use the normal mirror, I'd have to zoom out and find the gizmo all the way back here. So I'm basically doing the same thing, it's just the gizmo's so far away that I'm using the freestyle mirror to, compensate for that being at the world origin, because that's the default in Plasticity, is to mirror around the world origin. Now, I suspect from past experience that this loft is going to be a nightmare. Just put it on G0 so that it actually works, and we'll see if we can select all these guides and have it actually work. My suspicion is no, because that's just the state of affairs. Of course, the answer is no. You can see that for some reason, even though we haven't done anything to them, these have all unsnapped. And even though these were created on these points, they're not snapped either. So we basically have to go through and try and snap them all, even if they're... See, and that one didn't even move. I just sort of wiggled that. Again, I just wiggled it. So this is definitely one of the frustrations in Plasticity at the moment, is that snapping is not even science. It's just like, why doesn't this work? That one is snapped now, mysteriously, and the bottom one's snapped as well. And ideally, we wouldn't even have this. We wouldn't even have that there. because we want to actually snap it to there. We want, like, that's where we want our loft to go to. Um, but these ones are breaking it, even though the top ones are working. And again, none of these are actually snapped per se because they don't have their little blue doodly doos. And you can see that these are very much, as coincident as they're going to be. And if I bring it in here, you can even see edge end. So that's absolutely where it has to be. So there's no reason that those shouldn't be snapped. Now, of course, these ones don't have anything to snap to because there are no points on this edge. But as far as I know, that shouldn't actually matter as long as they're on the edge. In fact, I know because I've done it that should work. As long as they are on the edge, it should be fine. And maybe I can even select that one and it'll be okay. But I select a second one, it's not okay anymore, Can I select just this one on its own? No. So it doesn't like that one. Doesn't like that one. So it looks like it doesn't like any of these except for that one this one that I just messed with. You see now that's popped off, even though but that's a display issue because this is not displaying accurately. It's not actually off the line. It's snapped where it's supposed to be mathematically. That's just how plasticity works. If we could force this line to display accurately, which they kind of are. Wait, so you can see even this gizmo is not actually on the line. Yeah, I really wish there was a way to click into an even higher res view. See, that one works now. Like I said, visually it wasn't actually on the line. So, in theory, in plasticity, you're supposed to make sure all your little doodly doos are blue, but no, that's not the case. Helps sometimes. Let's see if I can. So that one will only do G0. Probably because I would guess the angles are too harsh there, so they're not tangent. Though these ones are pretty short too, so I don't know. This is the bit that I don't really understand yet, is this whole... yeah, so on a normal, if you got a screwdriver from the hardware store, these probably would be a harsh angle. And there would usually be a harsh angle here as well. They'd usually be ground down. And of course we can do that. We can just boolean out an edge there and be like, okay, let's do it like it is in the hardware store. Which technically I am doing a make a screwdriver challenge, so maybe I should do that, but I don't know if I will. Question is, do I like this? Actually, it looks a little bit small now that I've done all that. So what I might do, because there's no way I'm redoing all that, is make the whole thing a bit smaller. Seems like a fair compromise. And then if we use the middle bit here, we can uniform scale. Just scale that down a little bit. So now it's just the shaft is too wide, really. But some screwdrivers are like that, so I'm just going to pretend that that's cool. Are we all good with that? I know no one's actually watching, but I'm assuming that everyone who would be watching be like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. It's all good. All right, we join these together if we wanted to. And then this won't necessarily do well or even let me do much. I cannot even see if that fillet is filleting. It's not saying no, but I don't actually see it doing anything. So I'm not sure what is going on there. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. Let's try here. Yeah. See, that one's at least said no. That's, you know, that's feedback. Feedback's good. I don't know why it's saying no. It's a numerical problem. It's very good feedback. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I will. Should be able to do it here, which I'd be very surprised if it doesn't bevel that out. In fact, I might. Let's bevel that out. And then do these. Let's try it without tangent edges. Okay, so they're pretty much the same. So we'll just do a little bevel. Just, you know, a little appearance-y bevel. And I'm okay with that. I don't really like this harsh line here, but if it's not going to let me bevel, then there's not a whole lot I can do about it, unfortunately. Well, yeah, let me do just a tiny. No, at least it's throwing a proper error now. Oh no, it's the same unexpected numerical error. But that is all joined together, so I don't know. Maybe we can try. If this works, I'll be surprised. Try join those two faces. No. What about you two? No. Should be able to do these two. Select whole object. We'll just do a cleanup, like a general. And again, I've bound that. Is it rebuild? No, not rebuild. Something redundant. Delete redundant topology. I've just bound that to the tilde key, so I can just quickly do that every now and then to get rid of redundant topology. All right, I've been wasting a bit of time, down to 20 minutes. As we saw, I basically built most of the screwdriver in like 5 minutes, so I've been waffling on a bit. I work slow. That's what it comes down to. And you know, not that these are like proper edited. Look how good I am. I can do stuff in 5 minutes. Kind of videos. It's not what I'm going for here. But I do go slow. That's the back. Back's all right. A lot of the screwdrivers I've got have these sort of cut-ins for, I assume, ergonomics or at least grip. So let's just do a radial array. Might be too many. 6. Whoop, that is definitely too many. 7 looks pretty good. Let's just do 8 then. If we're going to do 7, let's at least keep it even, because it'll be easier to select them and stuff. Let me grab that. Grab all them. Do a quick boolean. Yeah, that's about right. Obviously, I'm not going super prettiest screwdriver ever here. Well, maybe I should. I mean, it's a challenge after all. Maybe I should be making the best screwdriver I can possibly make, rather than just a screwdriver. If anyone ever watches this, wants to leave a comment, let me know. Should I be going for the best screwdriver I can make? Okay, somewhere around 5 centimeters it goes off. See, that's a bother. Like this is where I really want to. This is where I'd really like to be able to sort of bevel that as far as I can, as far as I want to. I'd like to push that back about here. I think that'd be a nicer round edge. I'll probably get the same sort of problem if I want to bevel this out. Oh, individually those work. Beauty. Wrong way. I like that. Let's just turn off the... Yeah. I would definitely probably bevel all of these as well. Wouldn't bother doing it here because that's not how screwdrivers join together. The shaft is always just sort of rammed into the handle. Okay, so might just undo that last one because I think I would like to do these edges in the same operation, if it'll let me. Probably should have switched to select edge instead of select everything. It's not doing them at all. Isn't that interesting? Even if select one of those is the last one, it's not doing them. It won't do them individually either. And this is the weirdness of plasticity, like, you know, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. That is gross. So pushing it past about 8. I don't like that either. So maybe we just leave that alone. I know it's gross as a line though. What if we just select these? Oh, this one's different. Get rid of tangent edges. Only do these bits. That's definitely better on the inside, but this looks a bit weird. I like that. It kind of cleans that up too. Then we just got a bit of a mess up here. Obviously, doing that on every one of these is going to take me ages. Not ages, but longer than I want to spend, let's say. So I'm not going to do that right now. I will put a little dent in the end here because I just like little dents in the ends of things. You're not going to let me do that. Fair enough. Duplicate you. Let's do an offset. Just imprint that. I've got to turn my edges back on so I can actually see if it's done it right. Get rid of all this nonsense. And just a little indent. Just a little indent. And I think a lot of mine have that, and it's probably part of the injection molding process, I would guess. They also often have just a little, like, remnant of some lines around here. Maybe they cast the middle bit separately and then stick the handle on top of the resin because it's easier to bond it that way or something. Do not know, have never manufactured a screwdriver from scratch. Where's the middle of the world? This is the middle of the world. Good. Let's grab the text tool. Smid chrome. Could just call it mid chrome, eh? Might not even know that Plasticity has a text tool. I didn't until very recently. Someone used it in a video or something. I was like, there's a text tool? It's never mentioned anyway. But it's there. I don't know when it turned up. Maybe it's been there if it's like I haven't been using Plasticity that long myself, honestly. Maybe it's always been there. But there is a text tool. It's only got limited fonts, like just a few fonts, but it works. It's a bit of a pain to use like this, but it's there. Select all this. See if it'll let me do the select outlines from there. No, it's not going to let me do a. Come on, let me do a Control 2. No, it's not what I want. I was hoping it'll let me just select the outlines from there. Let's get side view. It's doing that thing again that I hate. I'll go to here. Now let's do just edges. Top view, F, and would you project curve body? Doesn't like me. Let's try normal. No. Turn our edges back on and we will try a select edges, selection everything, Control I for imprint, and looks like that is going to imprint okay. Doesn't look like it's doing occlusion anyway, but I'll change it. Looks like vector's going to work fine, which is generally the nicer looking one, so that's great. Right mouse button to confirm that operation. Go back into curve selection mode and just delete that. Oy. I don't know that I've ever had it do that before. Okay, that's interesting. Just deleting the whole thing. Wow, let's just delete these curves then. Smid chrome. it's done something weird. No. If only I could select that tiny little bit individually. Obviously, the only reason I did it that way is because it's curved. What I would probably do in normal circumstances is try a bit harder to project curves and make a curved stamp that I could boolean out. As I was saying again, these edges are almost certainly fine. A way to test that is if we go to export, save as, say, give me an OBJ, screwdriver. Let it pop up the preview. And if we go to a full one strength, so you can see mathematically they are fine if we push up the resolution. And this is kind of the only way that I found to test. Again, I really wish you could put it just into a temporary higher resolution mode so you could see without having to do something like this, because this can take ages if you've got a large object. But, it's the only way to check if you are going to export. And it's also a lot of people say, oh, just export it at 0.5. 0.5's fine. No, 0.5's got that problem. These curves aren't correct at 0.5. If you've got small curves like this, you have to pump the resolution up to get those details. Otherwise, when you pop them in your render, it's going to look crap. If that's your end goal. So keep that in mind that a small resolution might look okay on the outside, but at the end of the day, it's probably not okay. It's probably going to look rubbish. No, I won't say that. But be scientific is all I'm saying. Do your own tests. Don't just listen to what YouTube tells you. Oops, apparently I didn't go back far enough. There we go. Yeah, don't just do what YouTube tells you. Some channels are great and full of awesome information, and some people will just repeat what other people say when they haven't actually tested to make sure that what they've been told is correct. Don't export at 0.5. That's my takeaway. Unless it's unimportant to you that the resolution is accurate. Like, if you weren't putting the text on this, yeah, who cares? Like, there's probably no detail in this that you would really notice a difference. But if you are doing something detailed, which, if you're using a CAD application or a CAD-like application, I'm going to assume that your goal is to do detailed hard surface modeling at some point. Why not make that accurate, eh? Just going to try, I wanted to move this up the handle a bit, and I also just want to try doing this a different way. By just stamping it down. Which I think, this surface is probably a wide enough curve that I'm going to get away with this. Might just hide that and see if it's going to let me. Will you let me do a select and then change? Yep, beautiful. All right, that's going to make this way easier to select all these edges. So rather than selecting the edges here, I'm going to select all these faces and then do Control-2 to select all the edges. Then we can come up, do a bevel, figure out where the bevel gizmo is. And go the other way because I want it round. Maybe a bit less than that. Just so we can have some nice edges on the stamping without having to go in and individually, again, select all the edges for the stamp and do it after we boolean it in. Obviously both ways will work, and this way, it's harder to make sure my letters are actually inside because they're not curved. So I think I was probably wrong. I think the curve on this is going to be too much to make this look any good. And that's where it's really a shame that project curves didn't work. So I'm going to try the project curves again. What I might be able to do, and I should have thought of this before I stepped back so far, because I don't think there's a redo command. If there is, I don't know what it is. I should actually ask if there is, because I've wanted one a lot. I'm just going to extrude those. Like literally, I'm just going to do exactly what I just undid to a point. So I shouldn't have undone anywhere near that far. All right. Grab my faces again. Face. And in fact, I think, and again, I'm still learning, I think if I do this, I'm only going to get those faces, right? Yeah, beautiful. Because if you go from the left to the right, you only get things that you fully select. So if you don't fully select any of these faces, if you only do that, I'll show that again. This is just an old poly modeling trick as well. If I'm not going to get all the faces, if I want these bottom ones, if I only select to here and it's not going to select the whole object, that'll give me just the bottom faces. If I went this way, it'll give me these side faces as well. So that's just if you've got stuff on angles like this where it's easy to select bits, that's just a quick tip. All right, so I'm going to select those again. I'm going to turn this back on. I'm just going to try and project these faces. So duplicate these to curves. Select this, project curves. Beautiful, it worked this time. And that's probably a good vector project from the look of it. So I want to get rid of that one. I want to get rid of those because those are the original curves. And then that should just be my letters, yeah. So I'll get rid of my letters. Now what I can do is take these, turn these into geometry. Turn these into geometry and stamp around the corner, like make a curved stamp. So the easiest way is just to patch them if it'll let you patch them. And that one patched fine. Sometimes you can get away with patching multiple things, sometimes you can't. That looks like that worked. This one will not work because it's hollow. So let's do these. And for these ones, what we'll have to do is patch that, make the center patch, and then bevel that up, boolean that out as well. So just going to patch these last couple that have the holes in them. See how it's two objects there. Got the middle one and the outside one. Then these are sheets, so we can thicken sheet. Smid chrome. And then we have to find those, find where the middle ones are hiding. Oh, they've gone backwards. Not that that really matters either way. See if I can select that face through that face. Come on, give me the other one. Oh, is that it? I think I got it. So that's by... No, I didn't get it. Bow. It's by holding down left mouse and rolling the scroll wheel. I think I got it that time. There we go. That's what I want. Which is another little hidden trick that I think I saw that in a video, probably one of William Vaughan's videos or one of Nikita's videos maybe, that there is that ability to select through things by just holding down. So I'm holding down the left mouse button and rolling my scroll wheel. Oh, I'm still selected on that one, so it's not going to work. That's not what I want either. Can be a bit of a tricky thing to do. But yeah, so you can select through geometry, with or without X-ray, I think. Let's try it without X-ray on that one. I'm not 100% sure, so let's find out. Yeah, it looks like you can. It's actually a bit more obvious without X-ray on, so there you go. Beautiful. All right, so I've only got... Oh, I've run out of time. I wasn't even paying attention. It's all over, guys. It's all over. I'm just going to quickly finish this off, so you'll just have to forgive me. Who would have thought that you can't do a screwdriver in that one? Oh, God. Oh, well. No, I mean, I think we had our screwdriver 20 minutes ago. And we're just messing with text now. So same deal here. Just get rid of that. Grab all these. Oops, I forgot to change my selection to edges. Hit bevel. Hope it eventually lets me do it. So let's do a teeny tiny one. Oh, looks alright. How cool is that? I love using Project Curve. It's just, it's cool, you know. Alright, move all these down. And it's time for the magic. Select that one, grab all these, give it a second. Beautiful. It's mid-chrome. And that gives us our nice beveled edge, beautiful text, good screwdriver. Lovely. Obviously, this is a bit jank, so I need to do some learning there. I'm definitely not fully up on my lofts and patches and stuff. But the rest of it, pretty happy. Even the handle, even though it's got those kind of janky bits, they look alright. And we get our Smit Chrome. Beauty. Thanks for watching if you watched, and we will do some more of these little challenge videos, because I think this is a better way to do stuff than me just messing around with no particular idea what I'm doing. See you later.